Well, in this video, the F350 won't starty, but the Boogie van said, let's party. We're gonna get the Boogie van officially on the road. I hope you guys enjoy. This old F350 had a bunch of old pallets on it. I've just been busting them up and throwing them in the wood stove. Best way I could think to get rid of them. I'm gonna go out here and mess with this F350. It's one of those things that's gonna drive me insane until I find a couple of answers. So what I'm gonna do right now is disconnect the drive shaft to see if maybe the transmission is stuck in gear. Even with the clutch depressed, the motor won't turn, but that doesn't mean everything's not frozen together. If that's not the case, if the transmission spins freely, then I'm gonna pull the intake and heads off the motor and try to heat the piston from the top. I'm convinced that it's the piston that had that really rusty spark plug in it. But disconnecting the drive shafts a little quicker than pulling the heads and intake off right now. So we'll try this first. I don't have much hope that it's gonna be the case, but I'm gonna try it anyway. All right, wish me luck. I don't wanna be doing this right now, but stuff drives me absolutely bonkers. Yeah. Oh, shoot. Ah, well. We're in it now. Well, transmission turns just fine. So the motor is stuck for sure. Let's see if we can drop this back in with no issues. Ha! Nice. Perfect. All right. We'll put all this hardware back on. We know now for sure that the motor is stuck. So, shoot. Almost feels like it could snow. All right, back out here. The motor's been soaking a couple days. I've come out here a couple times to bump it, and I've really had no luck still, unfortunately. I'm gonna hit it with a pry bar real quick, just out of curiosity. Ooh, climb on the wet ground here. It's just a short breaker bar, but nah. It's still just as bad as it was. You can get that little rock back and forth. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the rocker assembly off of this side, just in case it's a stuck valve. So I've actually potentially worked out a trade on this truck. A guy locally was parting out a bunch of these trucks, and the ones that I like the most are the 78, 79 with the square headlights. And he had one he was parting out. It's a 306 cylinder truck, and we might work a swap on it. I'd really like to have a dent side Ford. I really love the dent side Fords. They're 9/16, by the way. Dent side Ford is what my grandfather had, and it's what I had years ago, and I always regretted selling that truck. So I'd like to have another dent side. So I might trade this F350 even for a 78 F150 with an automatic and a 6-cylinder, which I just want a Ford truck because I want a Ford truck, you know, I just really like them. let me crawl back underneath here with my breaker bar. Actually, I can try it with the fan real quick. Nope, it's still just as stuck as ever. All right, let's see if the van will start. If the van will start, I'll bring it around and mess with it a few hours before I go home. I'm just gonna mess with it outside. I don't feel like trying to bring it in. All right, I'm gonna bring the van inside. It's actually much colder out. The temperature dropped drastically very quickly. So I got my dog box cleaned up and spray painted the other day. I didn't film it. It wasn't anything too exciting. I basically just took the, I took the cover off, cleaned it up. It's really dusty right now, but I cleaned it up. I got some new snaps. Some new screw snaps on Amazon. While I had it apart, I painted this black. I put some sound deadener up inside of it to make it a little quieter. Nothing crazy. So I didn't go too crazy trying to film it. But what I want to do is make a new insert for here, because the one that was on it was wood, and it was really gross and starting to fall apart. So I need to make a pattern for it. I'm just gonna use a piece of paper and I'm gonna trace it out. And if I can't do that, I've got a roll of padded, upholstery, well, it's like upholstery vinyl, I guess, that I'll just glue to the top of my metal pattern if it doesn't look good. So we got options. Don't sweat it. I think the F350 update is it's going to be sitting for a while. If the guy goes for the trade, then I'll do the trade and we'll get the 78 running. But it's going to have to sit and soak for as stuck as that cylinder is. Or worst case scenario, the whole top of that motor is going to have to come off. Which is just going to have to wait, because it's not a priority right now. You know, I've got the van and other things, and I have a truck. So I don't desperately need the truck right now. I've got a second generation Dodge Ram. And I might do some videos on that, actually. It could use some cleaning up. I got a radiator for it. It needs a couple things. So, there we go. There. That should be a better pattern. Trim this up a little more. I'll get it transferred to metal. This piece of galvanized is a little beat up. It's you can't really tell on camera, but it's very dented up. So it's not going to look perfect, but we're not really going for anything perfect. We're just kind of having fun. I try to have fun with all this stuff. I try not to take anything too seriously. The only thing I'm serious about is making sure things are safe for the road. Other than that, I'm pretty goofy fella. We should be able to trace onto the galvanized with just a pencil. Looks like it's working good. perfect. I have a pair of hand snips that I bet would cut this out, just because it's such a thin metal. I bought a brand new pair of hand snips that I haven't used yet for anything. I should try them out on this. That would be cool. What am I doing? I just picked this up. There we go. There's our pattern. And then I want to do the diamonds in the metal to match. Of course, I'll, measure them out and all that stuff, but that's the idea. And then I'll take some of these button screws, button caps for screws that I got on Amazon, and you just screw them in and you fold over the cap. I think that'll look cool. Hopefully that'll look cool. Let me go ahead and grab my snips and see what we can do here. If this doesn't work, we'll have to go to the big shears, the Mint shears. I have to stand up and do this. Of course, then you can't see exactly what's going on. Boy, if I had to do this all day, I'd look like Popeye. That's for sure. Almost done. I just spotted a big dent right here. I'm going to have to hammer that one out. That's going to look bad. We'll hammer it out a little bit. Basic center line, I guess. Just really not concerned with it looking perfect. Again, I'm just trying something out, having fun. If it comes out really nice, I could always make a serious one down the road. My diamonds are more squared, not diamond, but that is okay with me. That's a wavy, wiggly line. It's really killing my hand. Oh, that's terrible. Of course, it was the last one, too. Everything was okay till then. It's interesting. It's not exactly what I was going for, but it's interesting. All right, last run. That's really strange looking. I don't know if you could see that. It's kind of cool. It's not what I expected, but it almost looks like dragon scales or something. That's it. So let's get this thing scuffed up and then let's get some color on it and see how it looks. All right, so it's wonky. I knew it would be wonky. Let's go ahead and get some black on it. We're gonna start with this Dakota black. I probably got the pressure up way too much, but yeah, maybe not. This stuff doesn't spray very good. There we go, and then I'm going to turn the pressure down, and I'm going to turn it up to, we want it to splatter just like that. And we're just going to splatter it. Make sure, yeah, we're splattering. We got, see, on the cardboard, if you could see that, it's just splattering. That's what I want. I got the pressure down. I'm just gonna pile it up, keep splattering it. Just let it keep on splattering. I want it as built up as possible. I want it to look like plastic. Honestly, that's good enough for me. It's not perfect. The spacing's a little weird on the screws. The shape's a little wrong, but it covers the giant screw holes that it had in it, so good enough for me. This thing's got a pretty good turning radius on it for the size of it. I really like this thing. I've never had a van before. This is cool. All right. I'm done for the night. It's pretty late. I was just doing some after work fun. Yeah, it's after 7, so I got stuff to do this afternoon, but we'll get back on this over the weekend. Well, we'll get back to this. You guys will see it like immediately, but it's gonna be the weekend for me. Now I can kind of film. Up and down 1,000 times. This thing's clogged. Oh yeah, definitely. Still clogged. Pull the cap off of it, that'll help. Oof. I gotta get the socket on the end of the extension. Oof. I got it. Perfect. That's how the headlight bucket is held in. We're gonna leave it and see nothing. The transmission cooler is just kind of floating in here, I think. It's got a zip tie holding it on the bottom. I think I have better transmission coolers though. Let's see what I got. This is pretty beat up, but it's not leaking. I think it's okay. I don't have another one. The fins are just bent up, but it's not leaking, so no problem. I'm gonna move it a little higher up though. There we go. Beautiful. You see this one's rotten so much it's split. They were spraying up in the engine bay. Everything's covered in transmission fluid. So I gotta get that one off so I can get the cooler out. So let's go ahead and I'll do that and get back with you. All right, got that pulled loose. Catch the dribbles in a coffee can. Guess while I'm in here, I'll spray paint that, but what does a 5-in-1 sprayer do? 5, okay. 4, okay. 3, okay. 2, interesting. Why not? Okay. Done. I picked up a heater core for this thing. I don't know if it's the right one. Hopefully it is, and hopefully it works. So let's try to get this heater box out of here, which I've never done. Don't want to lose that. I've never done one of these in a van, so hopefully it's pretty straightforward. Let's hope. The blind door's hitting wrong somewhere. Oh, it's heavy. We're free. I assume I just have to take this top where the blower motor is off, and that should give me access to the heater core, and hopefully the heater core I got from Rock Auto is the correct heater core, because I do not know. Ew. Yep, there we go, there's the heater core. Not exactly. It's not exactly the same. That's not good. Usually they have like a band that holds them down. This is glued into place, basically. Odd. What I did is I put a screw in the bottom to hold it. Got this cheap piece of galvanized I got floating around, and I'm going to run a screw into the galvanized to hold it together. So clamp the galvanized in place first. We'll make this one with the original piece. Okay, that should do it. Now it's attached. The self-tapping screws are not touching the heater core. They didn't puncture it. So, dump the leaves out of our box here. And this should lay in like this. And I think we can get some hose to clear out of the lid, because the lid's busted up enough to where we've got some reach. Yeah, we should be fine to do this. I think that might do it. This just goes right here. This hose has plenty of space to come out. It's not rubbing anything. Now I just got to make the top hose come out of there. It's going to be a little more difficult. I'm just going to trim this back. It's busted up anyway. Very brittle. Try to keep the screw hole if I can, though. There we go. Now we should be able to pop this back on. Yep, and that'll allow that to come out there. All right, I got some flashing on here to kind of strengthen this thing up a little bit and keep all the cold air from getting in here. It looks terrible at least, but it'll work. I have to keep my eyes out for a proper heater box. This. I got this now. I know exactly what I'm going to do. Fold that there, there, there. There we go. I'm going to try to put some of this sound deadening mat over this, but nothing really wants to stick to these heater boxes because I guess they had a lot of wax in them when they were coated, but it should stick to what we've made, so that will be just fine. Well, as I was installing it, the heater valve busted off, which I was worried about because it was fragile. There. Yeah, be fine. Well, it's not great, but it's better than it was. It should work. All right, I got it all reinstalled. I covered it with some sound deadening mat, some butyl matting. It doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look great, but it's not all busted up anymore. I put a bleeder valve up here because it's the highest point anyway, so it can't hurt me. All right, on to the next thing. All right, so the heater box is fixed enough. There's a couple other things I need to address on this thing. Let's see if it'll start. There we go. So, it's got a click. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's got a click. I think it has a cracked flex plate, and it also has a small exhaust leak, which I thought I fixed. I put a manifold gasket in it, but it still has a little bit of exhaust leak, so I'm going to climb underneath of it, pull off the inspection plate, look at the flex plate for cracks, inspect it for cracks, and then look at the exhaust and see if I can find that exhaust leak. I don't know if you can hear the clicking or not, but it's clicking. So let's crawl underneath of it and do that. You got to jack it up and crawl underneath of it. Well, I spun the motor over. I didn't find any cracks on these ears. I'm not going to pull the whole transmission out and look for cracks yet. So I'm going to leave that alone for now. There's a little bit of an exhaust leak right there. It sounds like it should be louder than that for what that is, so I don't really see anything else up there. Really just that pinhole right there. I did notice that I've got a leaky fuel filter, inline fuel filter that I didn't install, so I got to check that out real quick too. trying to get the grill back in. I cut the bottom bar off because it sits behind the bumper and it was pinched. I didn't like it. But this bracket's really bent. It's supposed to be a right angle, but it's not. So I'm gonna take it off and try to fix it. I didn't lose very much at all. Go me. Well, it's not exactly level ground, but we got to top off the transmission. Top off the transmission and the coolant. Oh yeah, we're pumping good. I don't think we have to worry much about a airlock up here. All right, then we'll sit here and we'll let the coolant level drop. All right, I got a vent blowing down here. 66 right now. We'll let it warm up and see what it gets to. It's almost up to temperature. It's getting warmer. Up to 170. I think the OE thermostat on these is 190, so we got a little bit to go yet. It's been out here running a long time and it still ain't dropped, but we're gonna keep waiting. Well, while I'm waiting for it to get up to temperature, we are at like 175, maybe 180. I'm gonna try to slide the dog box back on, which I don't really want to do while it's running, mostly because I'm a big baby. But I want to see how it looks. I want to see how it looks. There we go. The heater knob hits. That's funny. And the keys hit a little bit. It's way quieter in here now. I like that. Let's go ahead and put these hold downs in here. My dad actually made these because I didn't have them. They weren't in the van, if you remember when I took the van apart. All I had to do was undo the snaps. It's definitely getting hotter. 102, 103. It's been sitting a good while and it's not dropping. I'm just gonna run it and see if I can cycle it. Let's see if this clicking dies down when I put it in gear. Yeah. Oh, it died. Maybe I need to bump the timing up a little bit. Temperature gauge looks fine, it's charging. Fuel gauge is working, we got half a tank. Very floaty. Very floaty. I definitely think I have to turn the timing up. The idle's really low. All right, full stop. Let's count the shifts. 1, yeah. 2, okay. That should be it. not bad. Weird to drive. Got a lot of window. Cabin noise is a little more than I would like. Spark knock. Kickdown's not adjusted because it doesn't want to pull the hill any extra. I got to adjust the kickdown and this shifter linkage sucks. It's still pretty noisy in here, but I also don't have any carpet or anything. So I think I'm going to get a flex plate for it. Pull the transmission down out of it. Well, I think the old Boogie van did okay today. I'm going to shut it off, clean up the shop, and I'll check the coolant level when this thing cools down, but not bad. I don't know that I could really drive it with that clicking, especially considering I think the flex plate's cracked. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that just yet, but I think we made good progress. A tune-up. Fuel filter, I need to get it on the lift. Look at the transmission. I don't think it needs a whole bunch though. It's close. Close to being a good driver. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'm gonna close this one out. The local drive-in theater is closing after being open since the 1960s. It's the last weekend they're gonna run business. The property has probably been sold to a developer, which has been happening a lot in my area. So it's kind of a bummer. You know, when I was a kid, probably 19 years old, I went to a big car show they had there. I had a 53 Chevy at the time, which, you know, then was a 50-year-old car, 50-something-year-old, 53-year-old car, I think. And now the van is a 77, and it's a, what, 40-something-year-old vehicle. So time kind of moves quick. You know, I was 19, I'm 39 now. It's just crazy how that goes. So I think I'm going to try to go ahead and put just a little bit. I got a little bit of footage of that this morning on the way in the tempo. I'm going to go ahead and throw some of that footage in here, maybe some music. I'm going to go ahead and thank my channel members on this video. I usually only do it on the Plymouth videos, but I know I have channel members that have joined because of other vehicles. So I'm going to thank the channel members, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I will definitely see you on the next. Bluegrass Rust and Revamps, Fubar Model Yard, George Faber, Mark Murphy, Junkyard Jabroni, Gen X Rising, Ben Johnson, Carl Coffrin, Terry Dooling, Craig Allen, Fried Pig Nipples, Morgan Lagahi, Ken Hoggard, Greg Lagasse, Greg Lagasse Sr., A Bloke, Robert Lepanto, Lonnie Moore, Martin Kitska, Josh Long, Chrissy Taylor, Joe Francis, Sly Guy 2000, S. Gillis, Hell's Damned, and I forgot I've got to add Draven Lee and Marie on here still, and I think maybe Moomster has rejoined, and as always, King Cobra JFS in memoriam. I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.